Arthur Wilkins prided himself on being unshakable in the courtroom. An up-and-coming defense attorney with a 98% success rate and a closet full of identical charcoal suits, he was known for his razor-sharp focus and high tolerance for chaos. But when Melanie Hart walked into his office, all of that composure went out the window. Melanie wasn't the typical client Arthur was used to. For one thing, she was laughing, like full-on laughing, as she sat down across from him. Not nervous giggles, but an actual belly laugh. Arthur, clutching his legal pad, blinked like a deer caught in headlights. Melanie said, covering her mouth as she tried to catch her breath. It's just, well, confessing my business crimes to a guy who has a collection of those little toy justice scales on his desk. I mean, come on, it's on the nose, isn't it? Arthur glanced at the miniature scales of justice, a gift from his mother, and felt his professionalism teetering. They're decorative, he said defensively, and technically they're collectibles. Melanie smirked. Ah, yes, collectibles, said every person piling up Beanie Babies ever. Arthur spluttered, losing control of the meeting within seconds. This wasn't supposed to happen. Every consultation had a script. Listen, nod, explain the potential legal strategy. What was this woman doing dismantling his entire personality with a casual smirk? As Melanie continued explaining her case, something about an obscure workplace mishap involving unauthorized t-shirt slogans, Arthur realized two very important things. 1, Melanie was guilty as sin. And 2, he was 100% in love with her wit, which was entirely inappropriate. The weeks that followed tested Arthur's limits. Preparing Melanie's defense meant spending hours together, during which she enthusiastically pointed out every time he said due process, like it was the name of his imaginary hamster. He tried to focus, but her magnetic energy kept pulling the rug out from under him. Finally, after the trial wrapped up, a miracle victory he still couldn't explain thanks to Melanie's irrepressible charm, Arthur did something completely out of character. He asked her out. How about dinner, he said, clutching his briefcase like a life vest. You know, somewhere nice, no scales of justice in sight, just dinner. To his utter shock, she grinned. I'd love to on one condition. Arthur braced himself. What's that? You tell me all about your Beanie Baby collection. I refuse to believe you're not hiding one. And that's how Arthur found himself at a trendy taco joint known for karaoke Fridays, sipping a margarita the size of his head while Melanie laughed so hard she snorted. The conversation was not what he'd planned. So you're telling me, Melanie began, biting into a taco, that your best argument to your third-grade teacher for why you shouldn't be grounded was, technically, I object? It worked, didn't it? Did it, though? Melanie asked, eyes gleaming. Or did she just laugh so hard she forgot what you did? Arthur had no counter-argument. The night spiraled into absurdity. Melanie decided they should split the death by burrito challenge platter, a move Arthur regretted deeply by the second bite. She also dared him to try karaoke, which resulted in him valiantly attempting Don't Stop Believing while Melanie live-streamed the entire thing to her followers under the caption, When Your Lawyer Is Too Invested in Journey. By the end of the night, Arthur wasn't sure whether his ribs hurt from laughter or the burrito, but one thing was clear. He hadn't had this much fun in years. As they left the restaurant, Melanie looked at him, her usual smirk softening into something warmer. You know, for a guy with miniature justice scales, you're all right. Arthur grinned, finally feeling at ease. And for a legally questionable t-shirt designer, you're pretty all right yourself. It wasn't the start of a conventional romance, but then again, there was nothing conventional about Arthur or Melanie, and as the city lights sparkled around them, Arthur found himself wondering if love really was its own kind of due process, messy, chaotic, and unrelentingly honest.